It's allowed. We're an explicit podcast.
Okay, good.
This is- We're back, everyone. It's another Re-Entry Buzz episode. Short format. Try to keep it to about 10 minutes. We do a blind tasting competition. We have probably 100 samples-ish, maybe a little less, but still about 100 samples. And we want to find out who's better at competitive blind sampling. And so far, we're tied. Or no, we're not tied. I think last episode, who won? I think I got it. Yeah, it was Old Forester, so I got it. So it's 2 or 3 to 2 to 0 or 3 to 2 to 1.
I think it's 2-0 after 5 episodes.
So we're one behind. We're one. Yep. So it's 2-3-0 or 2-3. Yeah, 2-3-1. 2 to Cole, or 3 to Cole, 2 to Bryan, 1 tie.
Cool.
And this is episode 7. So let's do it, guys. You know how it goes. We don't have to remind you how a good Re-Entry Buzz episode goes. We're going to judge on these random, type, all that stuff. We're not even going to get into it. We poured our sample, same sample. We figured out how to do it. And let's get into it. So what do you say we sniff and taste, give a idea of how much we'd pay for it off the bat, and then we'll take a break.
It's got some good orange. It's not just yellow. It's got a little orange in here too.
Terracotta, one might say.
In terms of color, yeah, right.
Good nose.
Baby. I'm sniffing. I like it.
Yeah. It's not like some of the ones we've had where it's like, no, this is great. Great nose. Yeah. I have a feeling what type it might be off the nose, but I'm not going to give that away yet.
Yeah. I got a feeling of proof on the nose too. It's a little pungent.
I have changed my answer on the what it might be on the nose, type wise. Wow. Different on the palate. How much would I pay for this? I might pay up to 50 to 60 for this John right here.
I'm a little higher. Okay. I'm a little higher. I pay 75 for this.
Okay. I might change my mind after sipping a little bit, but before we talk about that, let's get into some notes and let's get into some guesses. But before that, we're going to take a quick break. This is a hard one. I think Bryan and I are both stumped, but maybe Bryan's less stumped than I am. We'll find out.
Yeah,
let's go over some quick notes, tasting notes. Bryan, why don't you start this time?
Yeah, sure.
The tasting notes.
So on the nose, I got a lot of like sugary bubble gum. I'm kind of on a bubble gum kick today. I don't know what's going on, but there was not fruit, not spice. There was just a mellow sweetness that is where my mind usually says bubble gum as soon as that happens. On the palate, definitely got a lot of like buttery. I did not get heavy traditional bourbon notes. I did not get like brown sugar stuff, but I did get a nice rich like buttery. There was something about it that tasted very like craft distillery kind of.
Okay.
It didn't seem like a traditional big name distillery. That contrasts with what my true guess is later. So please make fun of me for that. That's fine. But it was. I did get some slight floral on the palate too.
Okay.
Especially a little bit towards the end, but then on the finish, I definitely got like a light peppery finish. So a little bit of spice from that pepperiness, but it was delicate and it was a light, which I'll get into my guesses on the end as to why I chose what I chose. But you give me some notes.
Okay. So off the nose, I was pretty confident in this originally when I just nosed it, but nose is not my highest distribution of guesses. I thought it was right off the bat. I was like, this is a rye. And even like a candy like rye. I said nice sweet oak, almost candy like sweetness on the nose. But then when I tasted it, I was like, this is not a rye. This is a bourbon. I said candy notes are gone. Definitely reminds me of a bourbon now. Oaky and caramelly, but not too caramelly. Definitely sweet like a bourbon though. On the finish, I said pleasant, sweet finish. Even like 30 seconds after drinking this, it is great. Not blow your mind good in totality, but a solid whiskey nonetheless, like a very solid whiskey. And I'm gonna go through my guesses. All right.
Yeah, and please tell me what you at least thought it was if you changed your mind. Your initial like on the nose, like, oh, I know exactly what this is. Tell me what that was because I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I never made a guess on the nose.
Oh, okay.
But I said this is definitely rye. But I never was like, oh, obviously it's this. So, but it took me a while to get to my final guess. I'll tell you that.
All right.
I said type bourbon, secondary grain rye. Took a stab here, and went Jim Beam.
Ooh, okay.
Slightest Jim Beam notes, but it's really like I'm not putting my eggs in that basket. But I went 92 proof, really not that high proof. I didn't even go 100. I love the face on Bryan. Did you think it was higher?
Oh yeah, you'll see.
Oh really? No, I'm saying this is like it was between 90 and 100 for me. Age 10 years, I said. Well matured whiskey. So we're going to be different based on the look on Bryan's face.
Fantastic.
I said no finish. I said this might have been Jim Beam's signature whatever brown rice John that I saw like a while ago in my
cool
list. Yep. So that's what I got. What do you got?
Nice. So I'm with you. I'm with you. Bourbon type. I'm with you. Rye secondary grain. The delicacy of this and a little bit of floral and everything. Delicacy. I decided to go with 4 roses.
Oh, I'm not behind that train. I'll tell you that. No, nice. Go on.
That's cool. So proof 114. I pegged this not exceedingly high, but I pegged this over 100 easily. Can't wait to see how wrong I am. And I decided to go a smidge even over 110 too. So yeah, I decided to go 114. Age, I only put this at like 5 years. Not that it particularly had a lot of youthiness, but it didn't have exceptional oak on my palate. Finished, I also said no. Bottle, I just went ahead and said that it was a single barrel strength because I pegged it up at a higher proof around 114.
114 is low. No, it's not. I've seen some 110s for now that I think about it, for their single barrel strengths.
I've even seen, I've seen 105s,
really?
or even slightly low. That's about as low as the single barrel strengths go. So they
totally.
can get a little low,
and I think we had 1 or 2 in the list.
Yeah.
All right.
You want to see
what do you say we go to a break? Or no, we don't go to a break yet. We're gonna reveal the bottle. You got it in your hand?
No, I'm opening the drawer now. I'm not looking.
I got it in my hand.
I'm grabbing. I'm flipping around so it's right side up.
All right,
and
ready?
I have it in my hand. I'm ready when you are.
Here we go.
1, 2, 3.
All right. oh, I thought it might be this. So this is a J. Henry.
Yeah.
7-year. Oh, you nailed the proof. It's allowed. We're an explicit podcast.
Okay, good.
This is the Patton Road Reserve bourbon that we've tried to drink for a while now. So I think you might have won here.
Nice.
I think you might have won.
All right, we'll take it to break and we'll let you know how the points tallied up.
We'll be right back.
You should start off the segment with a big yawn. Yeah,
I should.
No,
anyway, I lost, but we'll get to that. Bryan did really well for not getting the bottle or distillery right. Bryan did really well. So we talked about it. We said it was J. Henry and Sons. Shout out real quick to Caleb Olson, a name we haven't mentioned super recently. But Caleb sent us this joint right here, and we love Caleb. And he's a long-time listener. He was our first Patreon supporter, actually, believe it or not.
Oh, cool.
And Caleb is awesome. Maybe we'll see him at our Chill Filtered meetup sometime.
Yeah.
So let's go through it. So this is a bourbon. It's technically a 4-grain rye. From what I've seen, it is a let me look it up real quick. I just had it. But it is a 64% corn, 14 wheat, and 14 rye. So we're gonna count it as a secondary grain of rye, even though we both said that. So I'm gonna count it an 8% malted barley for that. So we both got that one, and the secondary grain. I said Jim Beam. Bryan said Four Roses. Neither of us got that. I said 92 proof. I was way off. Bryan said 114, and it was a 114.83 proof. So Bryan got 4 points for the proof alone. Age, it is a 7-year, and I just missed it. Just missed a point on that because it was outside of 3 years. You get an age within 3 years. But Bryan said 5. I said 10. Bryan got 1 point there. Is it finished? No, not the Patton Road from J. Henry and Sons. It is not finished. So we both got 2 points there, and we both didn't get the bottle guess at all. And so the points added up. Cole had 8. Bryan had 13. So really well done, especially on that proof.
Please excuse my expletive earlier.
Yeah, we're allowed. We're allowed. Well, I encourage you, listener. I do believe that J. Henry makes their own stuff. I think.
Yeah, it drinks well over age. Yeah.
7 years. I would say it's closer to a 10-year. Personally, I thought it was really well balanced, really good product. Nothing bad about this bourbon at all. So check out J. Henry. They're out of Wisconsin. Hey, this podcast is out of Wisconsin. And check them out. I think they are making some good stuff, especially when I blind tasted it. So any other thoughts, Bryan, before we call it?
If we do our meetup in Wisconsin, we're obviously going to have to go to J. Henry.
Oh, absolutely. That and Driftless Glen. Absolutely.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So good reason to go to Wisconsin. I can't say the same about Phoenix. I mean, there are a few. Don't get me wrong. Adventurous Stills being one of them. I mean, definitely, if we went to Phoenix, we would definitely need to make a trip to Whiskey Del Bach.
Obviously.
show.
Obviously.
But keep an eye out, guys. It's good to have you join us for another Re-Entry Buzz episode. Hope you guys enjoyed. We'll see you next week.
Really not that high proof. I didn't even go 100.